What separates average from extraordinary? Is it talent? Luck? No, it's actually something far simpler. The difference comes from a few small habits done consistently over time. Sounds too easy, right? But this is where the magic happens. A clip you just heard was a game changer for me. I never realized that my intentions, my promises, and my dreams weren't the biggest factors determining my results. It's actually my habits that shape my future. This realization was a turning point for me. There was a time when I also wanted changes in my life. But no matter how hard I tried, it always felt like nothing was changing. I kept wondering, why am I not achieving success? But one day I started analyzing my habits, and that decision became the most important moment of my life. As I was looking at my daily routine, I realized that what I was doing every day was completely opposite to my long-term goals. I was ignoring my health, not managing my finances, and not putting the consistent effort into my career growth that I needed. Understanding this was so important because once you understand your habits, that's when you can bring about real change in your life. Then I decided that if I wanted to change my life, I had to change my habits. I started with small things like creating a positive morning routine, taking care of my diet, and using my time in a more productive way. One small decision is where everything starts. It took some time, but as I kept my habits consistent, I began to see actual changes in my life. My health improved, my financial habits reduced my stress, and I started seeing growth in my career. When you align your daily habits with your goals, that's when you can start taking control of your life. A lot of people wonder why their results don't match what they say they want. They claim they want success, health, and happiness. But then you look at their daily habits, and they're doing everything except what would actually get them there. I know this feeling all too well because I've been there. I used to want all these big changes in my life. Success in my career, a healthier lifestyle, and more financial freedom. But when I looked at what I was actually doing every day, I realized I wasn't taking the right steps at all. It was a huge wake-up call for me. I thought about my habits, and I knew that if I wanted my life to change, I had to start with those small daily decisions. I wasn't eating right. I wasn't managing my time well, and I certainly wasn't staying consistent with anything. So I made a choice to change my daily routine, to start focusing on the small actions that would eventually lead to big results. It wasn't easy, but little by little, I started seeing changes. My health improved, my work became more focused, and even my finances began to shift in the right direction. The truth is, your habits are what make the difference. It's not about big promises or lofty dreams. It's about the daily actions you take. If you're not happy with where you are, don't just dream of change. Take control of your habits, and you'll start to see your life shift in ways you never imagined. Because real change starts with small steps. Repeat it every day. And trust me, once you start making those small changes, the bigger ones will follow. Success isn't something you chase. It's something you attract by the person you become. This simple statement changed the way I thought about success. For so long, I believed that success was something I had to hunt down, something I had to work harder and harder for. But I realized that the real key to success was within me all along. I was so caught up in trying to chase the outcome, the promotions, the money, the recognition, but I wasn't focusing on who I was becoming in the process. And that's where everything changed for me. I decided that instead of running after success, I needed to start working on myself. I had to become the kind of person who could sustain success. Someone who stayed consistent, who kept learning, who stayed disciplined. When you focus on becoming the best version of yourself, success finds you. You don't have to chase it anymore. You become magnetic, attracting opportunities, people, and outcomes that align with who you are becoming. The person you're becoming will be the magnet for all the success you've been seeking. So stop chasing it and start working on who you are today. Because once you become that person, success won't be far behind. Reflective and realizing your results are just trying to tell you something. They're not there to judge you or make you feel bad. They're just feedback on what you've been practicing. Pause, reflection. This was a game-changing realization for me. For the longest time, I thought my results were a final verdict, that if things weren't going right, it was because I wasn't good enough or I was somehow failing. But the truth is, my results were simply showing me what I was practicing every day. Empowering and motivational. If I wasn't getting the results I wanted, it wasn't because I was failing. It was because I wasn't practicing the right habits consistently. And once I realized that, everything changed. Your results aren't there to shame you. They're just telling you where you need to improve. Slightly more determined tone. So if you don't like where you are right now, take a good look at your habits. They're the reason you're getting the results you are. And if you want something different, you have the power to start practicing something new right now, uplifting and inspiring. Because once you understand that your results are just feedback, you stop being afraid of them. You start using them as a tool for growth. Your habits shape your outcomes, and you have the power to change them one step at a time. Motivational, upbeat tone. So if you don't like the results you're getting, don't be discouraged. Change your habits and your results will change too. Reflective and empowering. If you're not happy with the results you're getting, you need new habits. Pause, reflective tone. This simple truth hit me hard. I realized that my results weren't a reflection of my potential. They were a reflection of the habits I was practicing every single day. Emotional and realizing. I used to think that if I wanted something different, I had to work harder or wait for the right opportunity. But what I didn't realize was that I needed to start by changing my habits. It wasn't about being more talented or working endlessly. It was about being consistent with the right actions. Slightly more intense tone, emphasizing the realization. When I started focusing on my daily habits,
we use these tools to help look deeper into the DNA of the plant to better understand its evolutionary history.
I focused on building habits that would actually lead me to the success I desired. Motivational and empowering. And the best part, you need new habits. Pause, reflective tone. This simple truth hit me hard. I realized that my results weren't a reflection of my potential. They were a reflection of the habits I was practicing every single day. Emotional and realizing. I used to think that if I wanted something different, I had to work harder or wait for the right opportunity. But what I didn't realize was that I needed to start by changing my habits. It wasn't about being more talented or working endlessly. It was about being consistent with the right actions. Slightly more intense tone, emphasizing the realization. When I started focusing on my daily habits, that's when the real transformation began. I stopped looking for shortcuts and instead, I focused on building habits that would actually lead me to the success I desired. Motivational and empowering. And the best part, you have the power to make this change right now. If you're not satisfied with where you are, you can create new habits that will move you in the direction you want to go. Small steps repeated consistently will get you there. Upbeat and encouraging tone. So if you're ready to see different results, start by changing one habit at a time. Your habits shape your future, and you are the one who has the power